All those times that I indulged this year in my minimalism break and the things that I wanted, I was like, yo, I'm weak. Like I gave in. Like I gave in.
Hey there, my handsome and pretty little Cobras, and welcome back to the Cobras Nest. For those of you who are new, my name is Mignon Cobra and I make minimalism videos. So today's minimalism video is going to be one that I know that my subscribers are going to love. I know you guys are going to love this one, and that is growing up poor is my strength. So without further ado, let's get into the video. Let's get it. Let's go. So you guys know that I've been watching TikTok a little bit more recently to kind of understand what is the struggles of my little Gen Z babies. And one thing I think is really interesting is this glamorization of the ultra wealthy and the like, I make 40K a year.
blah, blah, blah. And like, I love that for everybody. I think that is great. We should all live in abundance. But I just think it's really interesting that I have found in my own personal life that growing up poor has actually been my strength. And I figured I would share that with you guys because I think that that is something that is a fresh perspective that I haven't really seen. And I don't think is really commonly talked about because I don't think that most people who come from poverty have the time to make YouTube videos. So I figured, you know what, I'm going to share that with you guys and hope that it resonates with somebody else. So yeah, let's get talking to the very first point. Okay, so number one, my parents. So as I have mentioned on my video, I am the daughter of immigrants. I was born here in Canada, but both of my parents are immigrants from South America. My mom is from Nicaragua and my dad is from Colombia. Yeah, so both of my parents have two very opposite thought paradigms. So my mom's country went through a cultural revolution. So before the cultural revolution, her family was very well to do. So my mom grew up in abundance. My mom was like, she was pretty much the daughter of the Don of the town that she's from. And so my mom's paradigm is that she lived in abundance. And so here in Canada, I mean, yes, we did live in poverty and welfare for many years because she literally escaped from a war-torn country. But yeah, my mom's paradigm is I'm going to live in abundance. And my mom has always lived in abundance. Like we have never lacked. My mom has always bought the best. Like she's always bought better but best. That's something that I inherited from my mom. I actually inherited a lot from both my mom and my dad. So that was my mom's paradigm, is live in abundance. She's cool with spending money because her thought is I'm going to spend money. It's fine. More money is going to come in because like duh. And that's her paradigm. And her thoughts become reality. And I don't even know how my mom does it, but like it's true. She spends money and money comes in. My dad, on the other hand, my dad is super frugal. My dad did not grow up with money. My dad was the son of a shoemaker. And because of that, my dad's paradigms are very different. My dad's paradigms, he also came from, Colombia, which is like not a very rich country. And his paradigm is like, I would want to say a scarcity mindset. I really don't know my dad's paradigm too much. My dad is kind of like tight-lipped. So I just look at what he does. His thought process is make himself small, make yourself frugal, fit through any hole. If you prepare and you squirrel away, everything will be okay. Hey, that rhymed. He's an extreme minimalist and has always been an extreme minimalist. I have mentioned that on my videos where I talked about like in my house, we never had cans or food or pantries because my dad didn't believe in that. My dad only would buy fresh fruit or fresh food in the fridge and like that was it. There was no excess, no surplus. My dad always talks about how like, we were immigrants, like with what money, money doesn't grow on trees. Like these were the things that my dad would say. So I have both paradigms inside of me, both my mom and my dad's. So what I want to bring to the table is that being poor has actually been my strength. Like I'm very happy to embody both of them. Like on the one hand, I try my best to live like in my mom's heritage and live in abundance and be like, no, like I deserve to have the best. And there are times where I do that. You guys see that I am no stranger to buying expensive clothes. But on the other hand, I'm also frugal like my dad. I will cut on things that some people think is just completely ridiculous. Like what? Like I have never bought Netflix. I've never bought Hulu. I've never bought, I don't even know. Honestly, there's a lot of things that I know that a lot of people buy and spend on that I just sometimes like blows my mind. I'm like, you guys pay for subscriptions? Just because I wouldn't do that, just because that's something that I inherited from my dad. I grew up, like we didn't even have cable, to give you guys an example of like the things that we just didn't have. So I think it's really interesting that growing up poor in the society has actually turned out to be a blessing because that's gonna bring me into point number two, and that is, I can't be sold the middle class bullshit. One of my best friends, she's middle class, has always been middle class. And that kind of did put a strain on our relationship. Like it was very apparent, she was like upper middle class and I was, welfare. Anyway, my point being is that there's a lot of things that she would talk about that's like, but you have to live life. And it's like, she had to pay for this subscription and that subscription. And like, how could you even live life if you didn't have those things? And I was like, just sitting there thinking like, I grew up without those things. I'm fine. I'm here. I didn't die. So what I'm trying to say is that having grown up with them the majority of my life, all throughout, you know, elementary, high school, university, I never had any of the, like, I guess, middle class luxuries or middle class comforts that to me, like, I was like just fine without them. That I grew up also without that stigma of like, if I don't have that comfort. That's one of the things that the middle class fears. They fear being uncomfortable. They're afraid that what would it be like if I didn't have that to go without. So they pay money to avoid that fear. I grew up without it. So for me, it's the opposite. Why would I pay to have that comfort when I'm fine without it? So it's a very interesting thing. And that's actually one of the things that I have read in a lot of these money books that I've read, is that the middle class can never become rich because they fear discomfort, versus that's the only reason why poor become rich is because they can bypass the middle class because they don't pay for those luxuries, those comforts. It's a waste of money to them. So, and also the pain of being poor is what drives them to become rich. So that's why you see so many stories of poor people becoming very rich, but never the middle class, because the middle class doesn't know what it's like. They have this fear of how terrible it would be to live without those things, that the poor has just lived that way forever. There's a lot of like the stigmas. It's like, yeah, but who cares? Who cares what my neighbors think? Because I didn't even know who my neighbors were. So that's actually the third point, is that the discomfort is actually my strength. So a lot of you guys have really enjoyed my extreme minimalism videos, and I have been an extreme minimalist for a very long time, especially in the earlier days of my minimalism channel. And I just remember thinking to myself, like, this is really easy, because I have gone without for a really long time. And I'm not here bragging, but it's just kind of bringing to the table that your poverty and your poorness is actually your strength, and that sense of discomfort is actually the thing that makes you the strongest. Like, there's hedonism and then there's the opposite of that, which is stoicism. To be stoic is to be a warrior, is to be strong. Like, people go out of their way to practice these things, and it gives them strength because that discomfort is your strength. And for me, that's something that's very, very recent in my, I guess, minimalism journey. For the longest time, I was kind of ashamed at my extreme minimalism. I was operating on a fear level. I was operating on a I have to do this level, that I didn't, until this year that I took a minimalism break, that I realized that actually this whole time my discomfort has been my strength. All those times that I indulged this year in my minimalism break and the things that I wanted, I was like, yo, I'm weak. Like, I gave in. Like I gave in. That has never been a thing. Like, when I was on the other side of the coin, I just thought, like, how nice would it be to have those things? And I am very grateful that I have had the opportunity to have those things, so that now I can have the next step, which is to realize that between the two, I was actually stronger in not having those things. And I'm not here trying to, you know, boost my own horn and say, like, you can never have nice things. Like, that's hypocritical. I will always buy nice things, because I've mentioned, I agree with living with my mom's paradigm of abundance. But at the same time, I think that being stoic and frugal makes you strong. So I think at the end of the day, it's just figuring out that balance of, like, okay, how much do I give and how much do I take? Or how much abundance and how much discipline, what is that sweet spot? And I think that is finding your strength, is that realizing that, you know what, if you happen to have grown up poor, let that be your strength. Be a Mr. Money Stash, and I don't know, become a stoic Viking and just live your best life. So I hope that this video could have been an inspiration for my little Cobras, because I think that I have made a lot of content recently in the past year on being, I guess, you know, indulgent and living in abundance, which I do think is healthy. But I think you guys do miss this type of hardcore content, and I will be making a lot more of it because I have a fresher take on it now. Now that I've had a year of abundance, I can bring to the table a different perspective, because things are different when it is a choice versus when it's not a choice. I hope that you guys enjoyed this video, and I will see you guys in the next one. Thanks for watching. Bye!